energy of the surf fills our souls. Join these Steel City surfers as they seek out the perfect wave on their search for Stoke.
The bottom line is everybody wants to surf. I mean, that's why there became skateboards. That's why there became snowboards, because everybody just wanted to feel that surfing vibe, that surfing feel, wherever they could, wherever they lived, if they didn't live by an ocean. And we surf on the rivers, and we surf on the lakes, and we surf on the snow, and we surf at the ocean. But it's all the same thing, so it's kind of gone the whole way around.
Inland surfers come from all walks of life. There are many professional athletes helping to drive the sport as well.
About 15 years ago, a friend of mine who was actually a U.S. Olympic Nordic skier, but also a champion kayaker, said, I got this wave I want to show you that I think you can ride a surfboard on. So we drove out there one day and I could hear water rushing, it's just in the middle of the juniper forest. And we walked up this little bank and there was this canal there, and in the middle of the canal was this perfect little peak. I'd never seen anything like that. And he had this beat up old surfboard, and he had been here many times before with his kayak, but got in the water and jumped into this wave and, wobbly got to his feet and started surfing this wave, and I'm standing 6 feet away from him watching this all go down. I went, that looks pretty cool.
I try to travel around to Colorado, doing the Colorado River surf scene, basically May through July. So I try to stay out there, go to Wyoming, Montana when I can. Just travel around, go to Golly for Golly season, and basically I'm just trying to travel around looking for surf.
River surfing is becoming very popular, and many towns are designing their own custom surfing waves.
This is Pennsylvania's first man-made whitewater park, and these waves were designed specifically for the sake of surfing. Before SUPs started getting popular, the idea was for kayaks to get in there, but now we see this explosion of people on stand-up paddleboards getting out here and carving on the waves.
I guess this is my home base, the Dayton Waves, and obviously this is my home wave. It was built just a few years ago by Mike Harvey, and we have a few different waves around Dayton, but this is definitely the best one when it's in at the right level.
The city, the Parks and Recreation Department in Bend here went to a great deal of trouble, spent a great deal of money, and they constructed a whitewater park in town where the Deschutes River flows through town. And they made a surfing wave. And now we have a Central Oregon surfing community here in Bend.
River surfing boards and waves are custom designed to work properly.
These were started in the early 2000s, and after the initial phase of the park being finished, the cobble downstream backed up, and it took the second wave out of play. It backed the water up too much. So 2 years ago, we went into the river with heavy equipment, took all that cobble out, and now as a result, we have 2 functioning waves that people can surf on. But generally, every other weekend in the summer, we've got a giant whitewater valve in the Queen Dam. We open that up, they'll give us 500 CFS discharge out of that valve. For about a 4-hour period, making the canyon runnable, and then that's a 4-hour period that this park really comes into play.
The economic impact of tourism supports the expense of building the waves.
It's been amazing for the area. So what we see on any given weekend whenever we do a whitewater release are people coming in from about 5 different states around Pennsylvania, Johnstown, to hop in our river and enjoy the recreational opportunities that we have. Those people, a lot of them stay overnight, so they're eating at our restaurants, they're buying gas from our gas stations, staying in hotels, and pumping money back into that economy, especially in an area like this where we're an old steel mill town. It was always industry, and now we're kind of getting a chance to reinvent ourselves as a recreation destination.
So what's it mean to you to surf? What does it do for you spiritually, or how do you feel about it?
I mean, it's just spiritual. I can go out here by myself, no camera, don't care, just have fun. I know I'll be doing this for as long as my body's able, and I don't really care about being pro or anything like that. It's just having fun. I think that's the difference between a lot of different sports. It's just fun to play, and all you need is a board and some wetsuit to do it.
Great Lakes surfing has been around since the 50s and 60s. Locals always knew about the Great Lakes surf. Any comments on the conditions today?
Yeah, they're fickle.
Yeah?
Besides being fickle, they like to change. Besides changing a lot, we got waves.
See some tubes today.
Oh, there's tubes, closeouts, but definitely fun.
Nice, go get it, man.
Okay.
Neil Loma has been part of the crew here on Lake Erie since the 60s. When I started surfing here, we even had our own full-time meteorologist.
Presque Isle's like the Cape Hatteras of Pennsylvania. It sticks out. So basically any swell you get northeast, southwest, north, Presque Isle gets it at least somewhere. And you always get a clean smoke because at some point on the peninsula it's always an offshore wind. So I mean it's always happening here. It's a great spot, hidden gem of Pennsylvania that most of the East Coast at least doesn't really know about.
This swell was my first Great Lakes surfing experience. Years of surfing heavy Cape Hatteras surf prepared me well for the currents and high winds on this particular day.
Big southwest wind, probably around 35, 40 knot gales, gusting higher than that. I mean, it's amazing. The water, the west end of the lake is just piling up against the east side. It's by at least 6 to 10 foot faces breaking near shore.
You have to paddle super hard to get into these waves. These lakes all wind generated. You gotta know your surf spots and everything. Yeah, we're not as buoyant. And you gotta have thicker boards. You gotta have wider boards. So it's a whole different ball game out here.
The surf can be heavy and dangerous. Fortunately, the shoreline has many natural and man-made features that offer shelter in the storm.
The sandbar here is nice and shallow, and where it breaks, the waves break real well. There's a metal steel groin or jetty on the right side, and then there's 2 rock piles, so it's just a nice funnel area that has created a sandbar, and it's great for surf.
It's a little hard getting out, but once you get out there, the waves were nice and juicy. There was some good work rights heading out, and I didn't really get too many. I think I scored 3 rides, but they were all big. Like 2 of them were definitely overhead.
Beach 11, I got here at first person here, got up at 5, drove to Pittsburgh, and sat in my car for 3 hours. It was too scary, so I didn't want to go out and waited for Rob, and then we found a little keyhole down the beach a bit and made it a little bit easier, but still pretty intimidating. But yeah, the wind was just not quite perfect, but still some nice rides. It's fun.
The Great Lakes surf is no longer a secret, but you have to see it to believe it.
As a surfer and snowboarder and wakeboarder, I kind of started playing year-round. And I would go to Erie a lot to try to surf, but you can actually surf the Great Lakes. I didn't realize that much. And once I got to know that community and got more involved in the surfing up there, then that expanded my horizons with that.
I just walk out from around the Edgewater Beach. The ice was melt already, and I was lake, moving, the windy energy in the water, and I saw those white caps, and then suddenly this guy just showed up in his pickup truck with a wetsuit, grab a board and jump in the water, and I started catching waves and say, whoa! I thought it was the final, it was the end for surfing for me since I moved, but yeah, I found that, and now, after years, it's more and more people doing surfing.
There's about 1,500 surfers, I'd say, throughout the whole Great Lakes system, and we just chase all the winds, and so I just learned through the last 11 years I've been out here. I've learned all the different winds, the different surf spots on all of the lakes.
There's a special bond among the lake surfers that harkens back to the early days of surfing when it was all about the Stoke.
When I was in Puerto Rico, all the 20 years doing bodyboarding, then I just moved to Cleveland back in 2008. So I spent my last 11 years doing surfing. I made the switch from bodyboarding to surf. Actually, I really learned to surf here in Cleveland and the lakes.
It's just a pure Stoke, man. It's a feeling. You just can't describe it. You got to live it. It's beautiful.
Only a surfer knows the feeling. But you either have it or you don't. And to bring my 33 years of surfing out from all over the world, and especially from Southern California, being raised out there, I just look forward to a little wave in the Stoke, and I just keep moving along, and it's beyond. I'm freaking stoked all the time when there's waves.